We pause just about 30 seconds or so because some of our channels won't join instantly. Hi, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith. I'm with the Success with People Academy. So please join us for this live cast. We're going to be here for not more than 35 minutes. So gear up, put away the devices, whatever it is, and focus for a minute. Because today we're looking at another angle. How can we prevent these tiresome conflicts that we go through day by day? Eric Byrne, years ago, wrote Games People Play. Those mind games that we go through to cover up underlying issues. So we go through it. And I'm supposed to give you a trigger, and you are supposed to respond in a particular way. And so we have these conflicts that are taking place day by day. The same individuals at it again, at it again. Are you tired of that? Or maybe you're in an environment in which that is not just the same individuals, but it is widespread. And so it's a toxic situation where people are at it all the time. Every little issue produces a conflict. Some dispute comes up, no matter what it is. last night I was on a radio program dealing with communication challenges and how communication challenges can actually lead to mental health issues. And I was saying that in some instances, individuals are so tense and so keyed up that even something as good as saying, I want to have a word of prayer with you. I want to pray for you. The individual might say, why are you praying for me? Do I look as if I am evil and wicked? Why? So even something good can come, to naught because of the mindset. So mindset is there. What we want to do in today's live cast is to look at some strategies. We want to actually look at 3 cases that are real life, actual cases that are taking place, and to see how we can change the dynamic. We can get to a place where we can actually prevent the conflict. I know on a campaign to change the narrative from conflicts are inevitable and just accept it then to conflict is preventable. We can prevent some conflict. So rather than throwing up our hands then and saying, here we go again, but what do we expect? This is life, and in life there's conflict. What if we could be proactive in preventing the so-called inevitable conflict? Our work today in today's Success with People live cast. Again, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and we are with the Success with People Academy. We're going to uncover some keys to actually recognizing the triggers that lead to conflict based on behavioral styles, an understanding of behavioral styles. And so that's our task. So that's the question I'm asking. Conflict is pervasive. Well, definitely, we can't deny that. But are we helpless? Are we without agency? So conflicts can arise in any setting, at home, at play, at school, wherever it can happen. So the question, though, is should we let conflict define us? define our team, define our family? Should we allow these emerging conflicts to define us? So they come up, but what if we learn how to handle them, how to manage them effectively, and how to prevent them from happening? Would that then define us as being a healthy family, a healthy team, or would we rather be a toxic family, a toxic team? That's the question. And we can, in fact, develop those skills sometimes in a matter of hours. So the breakthrough, put out your clothes to hang, if you still hang in the air, hang your clothes to dry in the air, you look for rain and you see the signs, you know that it's going to rain, you pick up your clothes. That's what we're looking at. We can pick up signs that a bad weather is brewing. Go and do what you have to do before. A conflict is about to take place if this continues in this trajectory. And so we actually can pick up the conflict, the triggers, and deal with them up front. So the triggers that are most readily identifiable come from our behavioral styles. Yeah? Most of the conflict that we have is a difference in terms of the perspective. We have one set of preferences, you have another set of preferences. For example, in terms of sharing or getting across a message to someone else, someone who is in the B style mode, dominance, B style, DISC framework, or discerning communication would identify that. That individual, the more important it is to get the message across, is the more emphatic that individual is. The volume might also go, they might speak a little bit more loudly, and the mannerisms are significantly more dynamic, more dramatic, because it is critical that we get this message across. So that's one style. Now, on the other side of that conversation is someone with a preference for steadiness, S style, milk of human kindness, ice water flowing through the veins. And that individual actually wants to be calm, have a conversation that's not animated. Indeed, it is not that in that individual's mind, there's not the same urgency and the same need to get their message across. But in the S-style world, the way to deal with this is to calm and to actually even lower your voice and to count the words. Did I say that? No? So what gave you the impression that I was accusing you? Different perspective altogether. And so you could see butting of heads right there. Because when your B-style colleague is being emphatic and getting the message across, the S-style individual may not be in their body language, but they're saying, hey, why are you shouting? That's what is happening. Yeah. So that's just one example. So what I'm saying is if we get to a place where we understand behavioral styles, we can use that as a trigger. We can know that if we have to deal with Carl, who has a strong preference for C-style behavior, you cannot come and make a presentation without actual data, concrete evidence. What's this? I feel like this should, and I don't think, okay, Trevor, but where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? And so Carl is going to push back and to say, I can't deal with this. I don't have any information. I can't go off feelings. You think I could make this decision on the basis of your feelings and what you think? No, come on. And so there's immediately a problem because I am presenting to God my best judgment on the matter. I think that this is the way it should go, and I have a feeling that this will work best, and I'm sharing it with this man. And his response is, check that, go away with that, and come back with real information. Oh, oh, so I'm an idiot now, Carl? Yeah, you can see again a dynamic in terms of conflict. So these things happen on a day-to-day basis. There is a possibility of preventing it. So having learned as I should, the next time I'm coming with something, I'm going to, oh, remember, do not go to Carl and ask him to make a decision on the basis of your feelings and what you think. Get some evidence. Go and do the research. So I learned that. So would I have prevented conflict by doing that? Yes. And that's the message. Learn the preferences of your colleagues, your family member, and understand then how to avoid, no, not avoid, because avoid sounds like if you sweep in on the car, how to prevent conflict. That's our task. Maybe I could stop already because that's the basic message. If we could just understand behavioral preferences and to use that to guide our actions, guide our interactions. So, David, Don, whoever using your D side, remember, I know you're animated and you're not really shouting, but maybe you could temper your emphasis, your need for to be empathic and emphatic when you're dealing with a style colleague. So try to remember yourself, okay, all right, just cool it, right? Reduce some of the body language, some of the animation, because if you don't do that, your message is not getting through. Okay, so that's the platform on which we stand. And it is not challenging, believe me. If we go through our discerning model of communication, we can get it done in a session. We teach people basically how to read behaviors. We have reading, well, a workshop called Reading People for Success, but of course, it's not really people, it is really the behaviors that we are picking up. And we are saying in that session, this is how you identify somebody who is using each of these four bags of tools in terms of behaviors. This is how you identify, and this is how you respond appropriately to someone who is communicating from one or the other of the toolkits. And the key, first, though, is that you have to understand yourself. And we strongly suggest that as we go through this process of preventing conflict, one of the things we should do is to do a behavioral analysis. Just let's put it out there straight. Do a behavioral analysis, which helps us to understand ourselves at a very granular level. We understand ourselves. We have hundreds of competencies that will tell you specifically, line by line by line, what your preferences are. And then we could work out then how to communicate with others. And we do the same thing for others. With that depth of analysis, we know how we can communicate, how we can give instructions to others that they hear it and act on it, how we give feedback to others, how it lands with them in a way that motivates them to do the correction. That's what we're about. And so just want to share this map. This is one of the things that would come from a behavioral assessment, for example, for the team. So we do the team dynamics as well. And these arrows might look confusing to you, but this is an individual, all right? So this is an individual. At the back of the arrow is the person's natural style, and the tip of the arrow is the person's perceived need to adjust. In other words, how are they functioning now in this current environment? And so you can look at the map and you could perceive that this individual up here might have challenges communicating with this individual down here. And so one of the things that you would want to do then is to explain the perspective of this individual so people get comfortable understanding what makes them tick, what's a turn off for them, what is going to, help them to accept buying what you're selling. And so same thing for everybody here. So gradually, as we look at the map, by the way, when I do this team analysis and you put up the map without the names, there's a shotgun map that we can put up. And you could ask, the individual, who is this? Who is that? And in many instances, they are able to identify who the individual is and so on. And then the whole dynamics come out. The other challenge we have, by the way, in terms of conflict is that teams get into frustration because they're not aligned with the job that they are supposed to do. So if we look at the situation where this team might have some challenges in terms of change management, in terms of responding to change, in terms of resilience. And so that could also help as we go through the process. But that's not our task today. Let me try and keep um, to the task, which is to look at how we as individuals within a family, a team, can actually solve problems. So the first one we look at would be similar to the example we gave before, where Devon, strong-willed, strong user of the D style, is in a situation working in a project with Sandra, who is using the S style. And there is a major decision to be made, but the approach to how to handle the issue is significantly different. Devon wants to make it happen right now. Let's act. Why are we delaying? Why are we procrastinating? Let's make it happen right now. Sandra is saying we need some consensus. There are diverse views here. We're not unified. What's the rush? What is this mad rush to come to a decision when it is clear that we don't have a solution that is accepted by everybody? Why not have a discourse around this? Why not? What's the rush? So at some point in time, you want to vote. So what happened to the people who are against it and they are outvoted? They don't have any sense. They don't, their contribution is not meaningful. And so we have that kind of to and fro, right? What can be done to stop that, to prevent some of that from escalating? Where there's a throw up of the hands and people walk away and the meeting is, disbanded and no solution is found. Well, John, one of these team leaders that you would want to have around. So John understands the situation. He understands behavioral style. He has come to a workshop, a discerning communication workshop, where he knows how to read people for success. And he says, hey, listen, guys, hold on. Devon, I understand. You want decisiveness. You believe that the project is going to drag on if we don't make decisions, etc. But I want you to understand where Sandra is coming from. Sandra is saying that a united team is going to be more successful. And if we go into voting and ruling out some individuals, the collaboration is not going to be as strong. And so what we're saying is, let us have a discussion about it. It need not be forever, but at least we should see if we can find a way that we can unify around a particular decision. And so in that kind of calm discourse, there might be an understanding between the parties. And what that does is not just for this discussion, but going forward with the project team, the Devons and the Sandras will understand that there are different perspectives within the team, and the solution is discourse. The solution is to understand where each party is coming from, and to then deal with them on that basis. So that's one case. Let us look at another case. All right. So Irma, who is using her style, which is outgoing, people-oriented, really likes to see life with nice colors and have a happy face. That's Irma's DNA. She gets an email. Carl sends out an email. Same Carl. Okay. Sends out an email that's really beats down the team, and it's very, very demotivating and overly critical. So I says to Carl, what's happening here? You know, why have you sent out this, critical email? Betty, another participant in one of the discerning communication workshops, um, steps in and she says, "Hey guys, watch it. Hold on. Irma, I understand where you're coming from." And she also talks to Carl and to say, "Well, um, I hear you. I know that you represent Carl to withdraw the email because, yes, it is factual. Yes, you have evidence in it to say that this is so. But I also want you to consider, Carl, that this is a team where, we're working together. Is it possible that um, you could have worded the thing differently so that it wouldn't be as um, hurtful?" Because that's basically what it is. And so, again, discussion takes place. And hopefully, from this scenario, they learn to modify their behaviors to achieve success. The third one is more difficult because this is just chaos now. Toxic environment where people just can't have confrontation daily from everything. Every little issue produces a confrontation. So the answer to that is an intervention, whether it is in a workshop, a webinar, scenario, where the individuals learn how to resolve, how to manage, how to prevent conflict on the basis of a deeper understanding of behavioral styles. So how that would work is that the team completes the behavioral assessment, behavioral DNA assessments. We prepare reports, prepare team maps, and then we do the debriefing. And so explain how the potential for conflict as different styles interact. And that actually, in a half a day or a day, you'll be amazed at the difference that it makes to the team dynamics. So those are possibilities that we could look at. So bottom line is that dramatic conflicts are challenging, can make a significant difference to productivity, but they can also be opportunities for transformation and for growth, personally, as a team. And so if we can then get to a place where we are able to pull up strategies, pull up actions that are based on a deeper understanding of behavioral preferences, then we can get to a place where we can move quickly in front of potential confrontations to prevent these unproductive outbursts and conflicts. The secret, though, is to understand the nuances. We talk about these toolkits. We have these 4 bags of behaviors, that we can go into any bag at any time and pull out a behavior that's appropriate for the situation. Getting people to understand that and to, rather than to label individuals, "Oh, Devon, you are too arrogant and you're too dominant." Instead of labeling, let us look at the behavior that is being used at a particular time and how we could get Devon to modify it. Or listen to this, critical, get Sandra to close that out. I know that Devon is being emphatic. I've got the pushy, dominant, but I'm going to look beyond that because I know it's a style. He's not a terrible person. It's just his style. I don't like it, but for today, I really want to hear what he's saying. So I'm going to hear beyond the mannerisms. I'm going to close that out. That's equally critical. So we can't change others, but we can change ourselves. We can ask them to change, but we can decide how to respond to the situation. You have heard this before, and I say it again. The madman on the street says some very disparaging things about you and your family. What do? You ignore it. The same thing can happen. It's a choice. You can decide whether you want to take something on board or not. So the key then is that learn to read behavioral styles, to understand at a deeper level how the toolkits work and what are the tools within each of the four bags of tools. And if we can do that, not only can we pick up a tool that's most appropriate for the situation, but we can also learn to filter out the distracting mannerisms that come with communication from people who are not using your preferred style. And that can be done in a matter of hours. So I'm just suggesting that you take action. Yeah. Um, Team building, I don't like to call it team building, but um, that's basically what people use. But in order to get your team to perform at a very high level, developing high performance teams um, can be done. So that's something that you could actually look at, where we get the team to recognize the value. That's one of the great things when you have a diverse team with diverse personalities. Wonderful, because that helps the team to be great if we know how to manage it. All right. So again, conflict prevention. It doesn't say that disagreements won't come up. All right. And it doesn't say that we will always agree on everything. However, what it does say is that we can anticipate conflicts that could escalate such that it impedes performance. And as a result of that, why not get ahead of it and prevent it from taking place? So let's discuss it. No holds barred. I mean, no obligations. You can just talk to me and to see what would it look like for your team if we were to do one of these interventions. We would help you to get on a track where you are actually functioning more in the area of harmony than in the area of conflict, and going to resolve the conflict and spend a lot of activity trying to resolve conflicts that could have been prevented in the first place. Let's have a conversation. Info at successwithpeople.org. So your next steps then is to look back at this live cast, or reflect on the things that I have shared here in terms of being able to look at behavioral styles and use that as a predictor of impending conflict and get ahead of it. That's it. Invite us to come and work with that team. Just do a pilot, see what it is. So it's info at successwithpeople.org, or you can just go straight WhatsApp me, 876-535-6677. By the way, these live casts are available on our YouTube channel, YouTube at Extended Disk Solutions. At Extended Disk Solutions, and you can get a series of them. Some of them, the recent ones, have been dealing with the whole issue of conflicts and team dynamics. So be sure to check out that channel. Right. Who are we? We are the Success with People Academy, and the Success with People Academy is a member of the InfoServe group of companies. We are SHRM recertification provider. What that means is that if we do like a workshop or we give you a certificate, that certificate can be used for your SHRM, CP, or SCP recertification. So we give you professional development credits that are applied. What that really means is that we function at high international standards such that SHRM is willing to accept our professional development credits in their recertification of their professionals. All right. So we deploy the discerning, wow, deploy our discerning model of communication and leadership, as well as our REA leadership framework to guide teams and individuals and your organizations to greater success. And of course, yes, we are part of the international um, extended this and Finks network franchise holders. And so we provide behavioral DNA assessments from extended disk. Right. So let's have a conversation. What's happening? 876-535-6677 or send me an email info@successwithpeople.org. Thank you. See you next week as we look at another issue that's impacting performance, harmony, personal development. So look out for us. Thank you. Again, I'm Trevor E. S. Smith with the Success with People Academy.